Hey guys, this is Lazy Raccoon, and we're gonna be reviewing some Silver 1, Silver 2 ranked gameplay of one of my friends who's trying to improve and get to gold this season. So we'll see what we can do reviewing his VOD. So it started at 3 minutes. I'm not really sure what happened beforehand, but Nami was at base, so they probably got a kill on Nami from an invade. This was quite unfortunate. It's pretty obvious that Leona's going to be there, because she basically appears and just goes out of vision. They know Nami base, so they're going to look for a pretty cheesy engage here. So stepping forward here, huge mistake. And Misfortune probably has to recall here. I think she can clear that wave really quickly, but then has to recall. And is now down 2 summers. This is a pretty bad start, but we'll see what happens from here. Here you don't want to fight anymore. Minion aggro was on you or Nami at some point, and they could just turn this pretty quick. You have no mana. Yeah. That was pretty expected. Here you have to recall, yeah. There's like no way you can farm this. If you had recalled earlier, you would have been able to come back and catch the cannon wave. At this point, I would just go for the 2 long swords and a potion. So we're off to a pretty bad start. At this point, you're going to want to freeze for as long as possible. You can't really contest Dragon. It looks like they also got the Scuttle. I think Kane's going to go... Is he going for it? No, he's just roaming around. He could come for a gank here, but you don't have a lot of kill threat. They are walking forward, so this is actually really good. Wasting the bubble there was pretty bad. Now Nami won't have bubble. I think if you guys had held Leona and Caitlyn in your lane longer, it would have given Kane more time. And then you could have collapsed at the same time. Here you just want to reset. You want to clear that wave as fast as possible, and then just reset. Because now Caitlyn's going to come back in like 5 seconds. Yeah, this isn't worth it. Yeah, here you should be hitting these minions as fast as possible, and then you could have gotten the tower, at least 1 tower plate, and by now you should be recalling. So because of that, you're forced to take a pretty delayed recall, and you're probably going to lose at least one minion wave. I mean, it would end up giving them the dragon, but you pretty much have to at this point. That was pretty good. They can't even dragon because of that. If you had recalled right away beforehand, though, you would have at least been able to contest the dragon. Here, you don't want to be trading. You're just missing farm because of that. And she actually got the better trade on you anyways, because I think she has BF sword. This is a pretty bad spot. Leona can basically force you off minions here. If she gets an engage on either of you, you're probably both dead. So like here, you don't want to be here. If anything, you're going to want to be farming up on the top here. If that. Leona, yeah, see. If Caitlyn had kited up instead of just using ult, I think they could have killed you pretty easily there. So with Misfortune, you generally want to prep one of these minions and then Q it, because if you Q and kill one of the minions that you hit with the Q, it'll crit when it extends to the next target. So something that you'd always want to be looking for with Misfortune. So this minion's pretty low when your Q comes up. If Caitlyn's in range, you can Q this minion and it'll hit her and chunk her for quite a bit. Yeah. Here, you still want to be farming. I don't think you can really contest. Now that you have ult, though, you could really show up and probably win the team fight because they're at a pinch point. Yeah, like it's pretty obvious they're all at Dragon at this point. I think the best course of action here would, I think, just rush at the Dragon now that you're 6. You should have been hitting the minions quite faster to get that 6, and then you could already be here. Like if you're farming, you should be like right there, and that way when you hit 6, you can immediately walk up to the Dragon, because they're all in a perfect position for Misfortune ult. And I think you guys could have actually won that fight. So since no neutral objectives are able to be taken in the near future, you pretty much just want to freeze farm here. I think if Nami hits 6 and is able to ult, then you could pull off the gank. That wasn't coordinated too well. Kind of unfortunate. Lux is there too. That's unfortunate. I'm actually pretty surprised Lux was there. Nami getting 6, which she does just now. I'm not sure if she ults here. She does manage to get off an ult. I think if you positioned your ult a little bit more this way, you would have been able to cut off a choke point. So the next couple minutes should be pretty free, just farming CS. Overextending like that is a huge misplay. In pretty much no scenario would it be worth it. Only if Leona showed elsewhere on the map, then you could force Caitlyn off the farm. But most likely Leona's going to be there, and if Nami steps too far forward, she's going to get picked. Like, it's already happened quite a few times. I'm surprised it keeps happening. That was actually a good follow-up, though. You did what you could. This is a pretty easy matchup for Leona and Caitlyn. Like, Nami should be playing a lot further back. That's just kind of a waste of mana. So that was pretty risky. She didn't even know if Leona was there or not, but still went forward. If Leona was there, she would have been dead. Leona does end up pathing mid, so this is where you guys can actually force a trade. Right there, you're actually taking minion aggro. So Caitlyn most likely reset here, so this is when you'd actually want to clear the wave as fast as you can and just shove it in. That way Caitlyn will actually lose all this CS and you'll get this CS for free. And then you can reset, pick up an item, and come back. Like, going for this wave, I don't think is worth it. So if their bot lane was smart, they would have actually froze it by their tower, and you guys wouldn't have even been able to farm. But luckily they just keep pushing into you. That's just a waste of mana. So here, Nami should be ulting. Nice. Good use of E. You did walk a little bit forward there, but Leona didn't go on you, which was a little strange. She could have cancelled your ult quite easily there. That was actually really good how that worked out. So you've got a ton of gold here. Dragon's resetting in like a minute. Not even. You should just be clearing this wave as fast as possible in this instance. And not even staying for this next wave. Like, you're going to want to reset right here. You're definitely going to want to reset sitting on that much gold. Because now he's doing Dragon. Their whole team is going to come back full health and with items. And now this is, like, luckily we got the Dragon here, but this is a pretty bad position. I'm actually surprised that you dodged. That was a pretty clean dodge, but Leona could have just ulted you if she had it right there, or just straight up gone in, and I think you would have been dead. This is a really bad spot. At this point, you just want to run. Anytime you approach Caitlyn, you want to be at least behind one of your minions, because her net will hit you and it'll just chunk you for so much. Yeah. Yeah, so when Kane... So apparently Lux stole that dragon. And because when Kane ganked, he used Smite, I believe. And I think if the three of you, or at least use bot lane, reset right away, you would have come back with your full item. Kane would have had Smite, and you would have been able to take the drag, and you would have been able to fight quite well. Going mid here is, yeah, kind of unfortunate. I think you would have been better off bot, but Akali was already there. So yeah, this is a good play. Kane should just be farming jungle. There's no real reason to fight here. I think as soon as Kane got picked, just back off at that point. You should have been farming the CS here because it ended up taking out the tower. Just a lot of missed farm. Someone should be going bot right away too. And Elise top. Yeah, there's just no reason to fight here. So Dragon's not up for a while. Definitely best to freeze the lane there. Good CSing under tower. There's not much you can really do. Once again, good CSing. Yeah, I think you've improved a lot on a CSing under tower. I think you just need to learn the decision making of choosing to farm over trading with them or trying to fight. So if you're going bot here, you're going to want to ping support from your assistants for Nami to help you in lane. That way you can push out the wave again by the time Dragon spawns. Because yeah, being around there is pretty risky. This is fine, this is pretty safe. But then here you just want to last it. That way your minion wave will show up here and you'll have still most of your minions. And that way you can really quickly clear this and shove it into their tower, and then they'll either lose CS to tower or you'll win the dragon fight. You did give up a little bit of CS to kill that pink ward, probably not worth it. So you should get the streak for free. And this is kind of risky because their team could just show up, and if Leona shows in vision near you, you're pretty much dead. But here I'd reset. and probably go mid. Yeah, it looks like you can almost buy your next item. You can't really go anywhere without Nami, just because of the Leona threat. So it looks like Kane wants to collapse. Probably wasn't the best collapse. There weren't any objectives, although they were overextended, so it wasn't a bad thought. Standing that far forward isn't the best idea against their comp. So here Yorick should be going bot, because you can wave clear pretty easily here, as long as you don't get picked. So this would be a perfect time for Nami to ult and you to ult. Generally, you want to follow up your ult on someone else's CC, just to get more damage out of it. Otherwise, they can just dodge it fairly easily. Walking forward into that was a pretty big mistake. Right at this point, as soon as you see Olaf, you want to kite back to this pocket, especially because Lux was just poking you. And because I think you're going to die here. Not quite. Yeah, if you had kited back that whole time, Leona wouldn't have been in range. I think Akali's gonna get a tower out of this, but it's not worth the trade. Not sure what that was. Pushing here isn't the best, since it's just you two. Like, freezing is almost always more beneficial when there's no neutral objectives and when you don't have a tower, because now you can't even farm anymore. So, I'm not sure if you can get your next item. I'm pretty sure you can. So rather than staying for that wave, you should have reset so you can come back with more items and with your whole team. Because you basically didn't do anything for this 20-second period anyways. The whole team coming up from the bottom side isn't very good since the lane was already pushed, and you guys kind of wanted to be around mid so you can clear it before Dragon Fight. This was a pretty unfortunate pick. It's kind of obvious, especially with Lux being there, that's like pretty risky. Your front line is way back in mid. So, and she gets the double snare too, which is very bad. Somehow misses her ult. Probably not the best use of the ult. You do kite actually quite good. The positioning here is perfectly fine. I think being up there is a little awkward when you could have been down here. Like here, the biggest threat is Leona and Lux, because once they hit their snares and their stuns, they can take out a target pretty quick with follow-up. I'm very surprised Alexa didn't use her ult right away. Maybe it was on cooldown. But that should have taken out Akali and Nami. But here, you know they're coming this way. You kind of want to position exactly where you are, but not kite up. Like, I would have stayed around here. That way you can keep autoing Olaf and staying out of range. And now you're in an awkward position because you can't really go down if they collapse super quick. And if you were down here the whole fight, you would have been able to force a choke point in this area for your ult rather than standing up here and it basically missing a lot of people. Like, you could have ulted right here to try and peel for your team, but ulting this way didn't really do much. Luckily, they go separate ways and you guys are able to capitalize on that. So it did end up working out. But with the misfortune, you want to stay as close to your team as possible. So it forces the other team to group up to come into your team. Farming here is fine. Taking Krugs would be a lot better than farming that wave, I think. That's pretty risky. And if you left that wave, it would have actually started slow pushing to you. Yeah, you can't really fight Darius. Oh boy, this is awkward. Yeah, just run at this point. Going that way, not good. Yeah, if you had reset after clearing Krugs right away, you would have been able to come back to mid. Being here is absolutely throwing away mid lane. Not recalling and walking there pretty much lost the tower and the inhibitor. Good ult though. Here you actually wanted to go for Darius right away. Even though Leona was pretty low, Darius is a huge threat right here. If Darius manages to get his ult off on that guy, if he had it, he could potentially triple kill you guys. So Yorick's going for the TP top. That was actually a pretty good play. At this point, you should probably be looking at their jungle and just pick up free CS, like Wraiths right here. Maybe their blue buffs up. Probably not though, because Lux has doubles. Here, there's no reason to stay. Here, someone could have gone to Krug's Wraiths and checked their jungle. Yeah, just leave them. That flash, not needed. So here, when Yorick gets caught, you guys actually could have turned this. You don't have your ults. I'm surprised Yorick survived that long. And Akali ended up TPing. I wasn't sure if she had it or not, but if you had your ult here, this would have been so nice. Yeah, flashing here, if you had stayed there, you would have been in position to fight all of them. Now you don't even have flash. So going back into this is pretty risky now. I think if all of you guys were there, you could have turned it if your positioning was better. I mean, there's no neutral objectives anyways, so losing that fight doesn't really matter. Going bot here is pretty good. You're going to want to clear this really fast. I think they get Baron here. Yeah, since they're... Oh, I don't know if they are grabbing Baron. You're going to want to shove out this next wave, though. If you shoved out that next wave, it would have taken you an extra, like, 8 seconds. See, with not shoving out that wave, you're kind of stuck with deciding whether you should go down and keep shoving it or stay mid and defend. If you had shoved that extra wave, this wave would have caught the enemy wave right around here, and they'd be forced to send a guy there, and it like kind of bounce it back to you guys. So you wouldn't even need anyone bot here, so you could start grouping. Dragon in 1 minute. So it looks like everyone's just gonna try and group for a 4v4. They might send all 5 players mid. We definitely need some vision here. Yeah, not having vision in this entire vicinity makes it pretty obvious that they're just like looking for a pick. Like they could have all been right in that bush. Or even that bush. If they were all in that bush, you guys probably all would have died. But here, like, it's pretty obvious they're somewhere around here. That's when you want to send your frontliner. So checking these bushes without York, I think would just lose you the team fight regardless. And once you get caught out here, like when your team starts getting pulled, you pretty much want to stay back in this area. Olaf played that really well. I think using your ults here was just a bit too aggressive, especially since it's a 4 versus 5. Like, they can easily just run into you guys. Like, if you had Yorick here, this would have been a fine ult, maybe if you were a little bit more back. But just having only 4 of you, like, there's no way you can peel Olaf. He's able to just run up to you, like, just like that. So although it looks like you guys are winning the fight just because of all the damage you put out, it quickly backfires. And since you didn't have flash for that fight, you basically weren't able to keep away from Olaf. Like, it's impossible to peel Olaf obviously because of his ult, but standing there just gave Olaf a free engage on you. Like, at that point, you'd be forced to kite back. Like right here, as soon as you see this happen, you want to place your E so they're slowed and walk back, and you have to wait for Yorick to come. Like, you can try and poke them, but you have to be moving. Like, if you were up there, you would have been able to kite back into Yorick, it would have pulled Olaf off your team. They might have won the 3v4 here, but if you backed off into Yorick and saved your ults, I think you would have actually fully lived there. I'm very surprised they didn't take Dragon. But at this point, you should send like Yorick, bot, and then 4 of you mid, just hard shoving that mid lane as far as you guys can. Because if you guys all don't shove that mid lane, you aren't really able to try and contest Dragon without mid pushing back into your towers. And if you lose the 5v5 in mid or at the Dragon fight, and they have 3 of them that survive or 2, if their mid is already pushed into your tower, they can possibly end the game there. I'm not sure if that was like 3rd Drake or not. Here, there's no reason to fight. At this point, you all should just be backing off. Like I said before, if you guys lose this fight here, they can just push mid lane. I mean, you guys end up getting a pick. That was pretty lucky. There's just no reason to fight here. Like, although you guys did win that, it was quite coin flippy, and if it's like a straight up coin flip for no reason, it's usually not worth it. So at this point, being there alone, super risky. Leona and Caitlyn are dead, but even Lux can just one-shot you. And since they're going for a siege on the inhib, you're going to want to go over there. Like, being here doesn't really accomplish much. It forces Lux to wave clear, but Lux can help her team really fast, and then you're too far away to do anything. So it's pretty beneficial for Lux, because she barely has to move, and she's already in the team fight. Yeah, I don't need to say too much about that. Even just staying on this tower like he did here was pretty bad. Like, if you had immediately gone to help them, I think you guys could have ended. And then kiting straight here is pretty bad. Like, Lux can easily hit a snare, Leona can engage on you. If anything, you want to kite this way. And that way you can also start hitting that inhibitor. And then you're behind your Akali, I believe. Is that Yorick? Oh no, that's okay. So wait, there we go. Yeah, so moving forward like that pretty much lost you guys the fight. If you had been walking this way, you would have been able to kite back, clear these minions as you go, get the inhibitor, and then your minion wave will come in and it can pretty much body block for you. But being right here, like, you don't have kill threat. You do have a little bit, but you'll trade one of you, like one of you guys will die if you manage to get a kill, and you won't really be able to accomplish anything. So here it just completely blows you up, whereas you could be back here getting the inhibitor. Wasting the heal there was not too good, because if you're already dead, there's no point in healing. And because that just goes on, I feel like the game's just going to end by a random coin flip fight at some point here. Caitlin's all alone with just Lux. You guys, Yorick's in base. That's a little risky since there's only 2 of you at the time being, and Olaf could run directly on you. That was a really good ult. Yeah, the positioning of that ult is like pretty much perfect because she's already at this point, so if you start ulting here, she pretty much is forced to go this way, and the other 2 are left deciding whether they have to turn on you, go this way and probably die, or just face the entire ult. I think they actually could have all gone up this way and survived, but they weren't really thinking about that. But it caused them to panic. I think you guys can win off of this and just push mid. Yeah, I think you guys just end here. Nice. So, definitely the biggest thing I noticed was just positioning in lane. Like, there's pretty much no reason to get caught by the Leona. And then overstaying seems to be an issue. Like, you did get a tower plate here, but you could have done it a lot faster and then just reset and grouped for dragons. So, definitely a few things to work on. Saving the summoners, positioning, and yeah, like just kind of fiddling around here makes it so you lose quite a bit in the long run. But it ended up working out. It was mostly a coin flip for a lot of the fights. But you actually CS'd under tower quite well, and for the most part positioned pretty good.